So carrying on from question 21, and this is still the February-March 2018 paper 22. So we have two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. The graph shows the number of children with each type of diabetes per 100,000 children in one country. So here we have the number of children per 100,000, so 50 out of 100,000 or 350 out of 100,000 have type 1 or type 2 diabetes in the two different colors. And then we've got it by age group, ages 2 through 17. Then they ask us which conclusion can be made from the graph. So it's really important that whatever answer we choose, it comes directly from the graph and not from our knowledge or our understanding of type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So if we look at our options, 1.5% of 9-year-olds have diabetes. 31.3% of 17-year-olds with diabetes have type 2 diabetes. Okay, right. So those are both calculations, which we have data here, so potentially we can calculate. There are 10 more 12-year-olds in the country with diabetes than 13-year-olds. And the last one, type 2 diabetes will cause more health problems than type 1. Now remember we said it has to come from the data. So already D is most definitely out because that's not seen in our graph. You can't see health problems in our graph. So we need to understand our figures on the graph. If we look carefully, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, okay, between 50. So each of these little blocks is 10. So let's check this one. 10 more 12-year-olds in the country with diabetes than 13-year-olds. So if we look at 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, there is a gap here of 10. But this is 10 children per 100,000. We don't know how many children there are in the country in total. So actually, we don't know this. We only know a relative amount. We don't know the total number of kids. So, if there's only 100,000 kids in the country, then there is a difference of 10. But there's a lot more, probably, or a lot less. We don't know. So we don't have the information in order to answer that question. So it's between the first one and the second one. So 1.5% of 9-year-olds have diabetes. So let's look at 9-year-olds and take them across. So we have 150 per 100,000 that have diabetes. Okay? So that is our 9-year-olds. When it comes to our 17-year-olds, we have a different relationship. Our 17-year-olds would be 310, whoa, okay, this is now 320. And this here is 200, 210, 220. Okay, so we need to know the percentage of 17-year-olds with type 2 diabetes. Well, there's 100 here. So this would be 100 out of 350. So now let's look at these. 150 divided by 100,000 gives us, oops, we need percentages, times 100. This gives us 0.15. Here, 100 divided by 350 times 100. So 100 divided by 350 times 100 to get a percent. Divided by, what am I doing? I'm talking nonsense and nobody's shouting at me. Is it too early this morning? There's not 350, there's 320 17-year-olds. 17-year-olds. Okay, I think we're saying that I didn't have enough tea to drink this morning before starting this lesson. So let's try 100 divided by 320 times 100. That's going to give us 31.25%. So 0.15%, we don't have 1.5%, that's wrong. 31.25, that rounds to 31.3. So 31.3% of 17-year-olds with diabetes have type 2 diabetes. So we took our number of children with the type 2 diabetes there at the top, from 220 to 320, that's 100 children here. And it's out of all of the 17-year-olds with diabetes. So 100 divided by 320. Then we multiplied by 100 to get our percentage, and we matched 31.3%. So moving on to question 22. The diagram shows an experiment using wheat shoot tips to investigate plant growth. Which statement is supported by the evidence provided by this experiment? So at the beginning, we had plant X and plant Y. We removed the tip of Y. They then had 2 days in even light coming down from the top. And X grew. Y hasn't changed at all. So what statement is supported by the evidence provided by this experiment? Again, not by your knowledge, but of what we can see here. Auxin moves through the plant by osmosis. Well, we can't see that here at all. Plus, osmosis, water only. Auxin is made in the shoot tip. Well, the plant with its shoot tip removed didn't grow at all. So that makes sense. Auxin is unequally distributed in response to light. We can't see that at all in this experiment, because in this experiment we had even light. And auxin inhibits cell elongation. We can't see this in this experiment, because in this experiment we're not looking at the cells, we're just looking at that growth. So we have confirmed that B is our answer. This experiment is looking about where that auxin is made. It's made in the shoot tip. Question 23, sticking with some plants. A wind-pollinated plant has which features? Large anthers, colored petals, and produces nectar. Well, colored petals and nectar, that sounds rather like an insect-pollinated plant. Large petals, small anthers, and a sticky stigma. Large petals, that belongs in insect pollination. Small petals, large anthers, and a feathery stigma. There we go. Those all sound good. Because remember, our small anthers, sorry, we didn't go through everything, and a sticky stigma also belong in our insect pollinated plant. Okay, let's just confirm. Small petals produces nectar, has a strong scent. Those are both insect. Okay, so small petals, large anthers, and a feathery stigma. Okay, so reminder that anthers are the pollen-producing plants of our plant. So if you haven't come to this topics in your studying yet, don't worry, you will get there. What these sessions are doing when we're working through the past papers is that we're building up for those people who are preparing for the October-November exam, then they should be comfortable with all of these topics. If you haven't got to the topic yet, don't worry, you will get there, and then it will all make a lot more sense. Okay, question 24. Which describes a human male gamete? Remember, when we've got these tables, what we want to do is we want to answer the question, then look for the matching. So, a human male gamete, we're talking here about sperm. Is it motile? Can it move? Yes, it can. Relative size compared to the female gamete, which is smaller, the sperm or the egg? The sperm is definitely smaller because the egg has all the nutrients required. Flagellum present? Yes, the sperm does have a flagellum. That's how it gets its movement. So where do we have yes, smaller? Yes, it's here in B. So our answer for 24 is a B. Question 25. What is a consequence of HIV infection on the human body. Remember, when we get the HIV infection, we are attacking that immune system directly. So the immune system is weakened. Why? Well, A looks rather good. Decrease the lymphocyte numbers, yes. Increased protection against bacterial infections, absolutely not. We have decreased protection. Increased hemoglobin production. No, HIV is not affecting our red blood cells and our hemoglobin. Sickle cell anemia, nope, that's a genetic disease. So we have confirmed that A, decreased lymphocyte numbers is the answer that we're looking for. And it's worth doing that. Even if you sort of get your question and you say, hey, no, it's sorted, I'm carrying on. Always check your other answers. Because sometimes you read a bit too quick or you miss something and then you say, hold on, what if it's D? And then you can either confirm or you can see that you were actually a bit hasty in choosing the A. So always check all of the answers, even if you think it's the first one. So sticking with human reproduction again now, which sex chromosomes in the egg and the sperm will produce a male child? Remember, for male, we need X and Y. But the Y can only come from a dad. Okay, so this one is from a mum. So the egg must have an X and the sperm must have a Y. So we're looking X in the egg, Y in the sperm. So 26 is B. Question 27. Cell division has the following functions: asexual reproduction, growth, production of gametes, repair of damaged tissue, and replacement of cells. Which functions are specific to mitosis? Because remember, we have mitosis and we have meiosis. So whenever it is meiosis, this one is all about gametes, because this is our reduction division. So which of these are mitosis? Asexual reproduction? Yes, genetically identical. Growth? Absolutely. Production of gametes? No, because this is our meiosis. Repair of damaged tissue? Absolutely. And replacement of dead cells? Yes, that's how we repair our damaged tissue as well, is replacement of those cells. So 1, 2, 4, and 5. That lands us on B. So again, we don't get distracted by the options they give us. First we answer the question, then we look for the correct answer. Question 28. We have a pedigree diagram. The chart is showing the inheritance of fur color in a small mammal. If the allele for white fur is dominant, so we have W equals white, little w equals black. Which animal must be heterozygous for the gene controlling fur color? So we are looking for which one must be big W, little w. Okay, so remember we start with our homozygous guys. So these little black ones, they are WW, homozygous recessive. So we now know that we've knocked out B and we've knocked out D. They can't be heterozygous. So now we're looking at A and C. Well, A could be WW or WW, because there is no way of knowing whether this one is heterozygous or homozygous dominant, because all of these offspring are white. So we know that any offspring from this little black mouse is going to have a little w, because that's the only fur color gamete that mouse can make. So what have we got from here? Well, we had to have a capital W in order to get a little white mouse. So we don't know about A, but we do know C must be heterozygous. Question 29. In areas of the world where malaria is present, the sickle cell allele is more common. What is the reason for this? Well, remember, sickle cell is less likely to get malaria. So both diseases are caused by the same allele, not at all. Malaria is not a genetic disease. Heterozygous individuals with the sickle cell allele are less likely to have malaria, absolutely. Heterozygous individuals with the sickle cell allele are more likely to have malaria, definitely not. And these are parts of the world with many diseases. All parts of the world have many diseases. It's all about this interaction between the sickle cell and the malaria. That's why we have that effect. Question 30. Which feature helps a xerophyte survive in its environment? So, xerophytes, xerophytic plants, is low water availability. So, our plants that are living in deserts, for example. So, what is a feature here that conserves water? Flat leaves with a large surface area. No, large surface area would be even more stomata, would be even more loss of water. No cuticle. Absolutely not. The cuticle is that waxy layer. It's waterproofing beneath. Short roots. No, if there's not much water around, we want long roots because we want to get further down into the soil. Sunken stomata. Now we're talking. Because if we sink our stomata into the leaves, then we can get that nice moist air outside the stomata and we can decrease that water potential gradient. So we're decreasing the diffusion of our water vapor from inside to outside. So sunken stomata, definitely a feature of a xerophyte. Question 31. What is a feature of natural selection? It does not require a struggle for survival. No, you definitely must struggle to survive. It does not require variation in a population. No, we actually need that variation. Natural selection acts on that variation. It involves the selection of advantageous phenotypes. Advantage, select for, yes. It involves the selection of disadvantageous genotypes. Disadvantageous, you will not be selecting for that. 31C. 32. Diagram shows energy flow through an ecosystem. In what form is energy transferred at X? So sun to the green plant to the herbivore, then herbivore to the decomposer. So death and decomposition. So when we're working on this sort of decomposition, it is all about chemical energy. Being transferred from the herbivore to the decomposer, we got that chemical energy. Question 33. The diagram shows part of the carbon cycle. Which process reduces the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere? So we've got fossil fuels going through transport and industry and power. We've got animals and plants and decomposers. And from all of those, you can see the arrows are coming in to carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So all of those are increasing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So in order to decrease, we need to take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. We need carbon fixation, and that is then B. Question 34. The graph shows the human population of the world for the last 2,000 years. So we've got millions on our vertical axis, we've got time in years on our horizontal axis. What is the phase identified by P? So P is that piece where it goes so steeply up, up it goes, and that is always our exponential phase, also known as our log phase. So our answer is B. I'm getting a lot of B's today. Question 35. Some of the characteristics of bacteria are listed. They can make complex molecules, they can reproduce quickly, they have a cytoplasm, and they may cause diseases. Which characteristics make bacteria useful in biotechnology and genetic engineering? So is their ability to make a complex molecule useful? Absolutely, that's the whole point. Is the fact that they can reproduce quickly useful? Yes, it is, because then we can get lots of the one we want. The fact that they have a cytoplasm, not so particularly useful. And the fact that they can cause diseases, no, we're not looking for that. We're looking at this feature of reproduction and ability to make complex molecules for biotechnology and genetic engineering. So always be careful to answer your question in the context that's being asked. So 1 and 2, only our answer is B. What is a requirement for the production of penicillin in a fermenter? Adding bubbles of nitrogen gas to mix the nutrients in penicillin. Adding the required amount of sugar as a nutrient. Ensuring no oxygen enters the fermenter, so only anaerobic respiration occurs. Or maintaining a constant temperature of 95 degrees C to prevent other microorganisms growing. The only one there that is an actual factual requirement is adding the required amount of sugar as a nutrient. We must have the nutrients required in order to produce penicillin. Question 37. Human insulin can be produced in large quantities by modified E. coli bacteria. 4 of the steps in this production process are listed. Insulin is removed from the bacterial culture. An enzyme is used to cut out the insulin gene from a human chromosome. The insulin gene is placed into the plasmid of bacterium. Bacteria with the insulin gene reproduce very rapidly. What is the order of these steps? So we go here and we look at them again. Removal of insulin. Well, that's going to be the last one. Okay, so now we have to look at the other 3. Enzyme is used to cut out the gene into a plasmid, and bacteria with the gene reproducing. That actually sounds like it makes sense. Because first we have to get out the gene, then we have to put it into a plasmid, then into the bacterium. The bacteria with that plasmid are going to reproduce, and then we can remove the insulin. So we want 2, 3, 4, 1, which is C. So 37 comes in at C. Number 38. What is a major contributor to the problem of worldwide famine? Equal distribution of food. Well, one of our major issues in the world is actually unequal distribution of food. Increasing population and life expectancy. Now that's a problem, okay? Because increasing population, more people to feed, increasing life expectancy, people live longer, requiring still more food. So yes, that is a problem. Large-scale monoculture of crop plants. Not very good for the environment, not very good for biodiversity, but is not a major contributor to the problem of worldwide famine at this stage. Use of herbicides and insecticides in farming, again, a problem for biodiversity, problem for maybe long-term longevity of agricultural practices, but not a current major contributor to the problem of worldwide famine. So currently, worldwide famine is all about increasing population and life expectancy. Question 39. The flow diagram shows a process that can occur as a result of pollution in a river. High concentrations of nitrate ions enter the river. Algae then reproduce rapidly because we've got lots of nitrate available for them. But then those algae die and decompose. And then we have a low concentration of dissolved oxygen, which kills other organisms like the fish. So which term describes the process shown in the diagram? Increasing nitrate, killing everything off. It's all about eutrophication. So our answer is B. If we check the others, aerobic respiration, definitely not. Nitrogen cycle, nope. This is just one little piece of nitrates talking about eutrophication. It's not the full nitrogen cycle. And photosynthesis, no, this is not about that fixation of light and the production of glucose. So this is all about eutrophication. And that brings us then to the final question of this paper. Which stage in the treatment of sewage removes large floating objects such as plastic bags? Aeration, discharge, screening, or sedimentation? So, large floating objects, that would be screening. Because first steps of treatment of sewage is the screening to get rid of the large objects so that then the sewage itself can go on to be treated. So you can do this as you go through your revision, get yourself some past papers and work through them question by question. Always doing your best to answer the question and then to go find the answer so you're not distracted by the answers in